Welcome on in to the 4-1 podcast. What's going on, y'all? For the viewers that are out there tonight, thank you so much. If you could please do me a favor, if you can like, if you can comment, if you can share, invite your friends in. We're going to have a great show tonight. We are turning pain into power. Episode 3, Disc 5, Restoration. 4-1 podcast. We have my friend, Canadian recording artist, Maddie Lee Marsh. She's coming with it tonight. This is going to be a great show tonight. Thank you so much for joining on in. Now, before we go ahead and get started, y'all know how we do here on the 4-1. I have to go ahead and give thanks to my executive producer, my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, for allowing me another opportunity to come out here and give you the 4-1 podcast. Without him, this would not be possible. Without the supporters, without everybody out there rocking, rolling, supporting, making this thing do what it do, all of the featured guests that come through to help me bring this show to make it what it is, I want to say thank you to each and every one of you. I'm going to go through the list to make sure I don't forget anybody. Night 1, Episode 1, Antonio. He definitely did a great job. Please go ahead and check out that replay. I want to thank him. Last night we had business owner Rockwell Hernandez, straight up from New Jersey. I'm from New Jersey, so we had that in common. We had a great conversation speaking about business, being an entrepreneur, and stepping away and breaking away from the matrix and healing all of the things that are internal, what people can't see on the out. How do we stick and move? How do we maneuver through life? How do we maneuver throughout the day when we got so much stuff going on the inside and we can't share it with others? That's what we spoke about last night. Thank you so much to Rockwell Hernandez for coming through. And then, of course, tonight we got the voice and we got beauty. We have Miss Maddie Lee Morris coming in tonight. Can't wait to speak to her. Tomorrow, first episode of Reading Between the Wines. My brother, my friend, Birdman 313. Thank you so much for always gracing the 4-1 podcast and Reading Between the Wines. He'll be in tomorrow. We have Ian West coming in later on this week, as well as Vonline Jackson. Thank you all so much for wanting to be a part of this project and making it do what it do. Want to give a very special shout out to Amora Young, Mr. Alex Coquito, all the way from Puerto Rico, Anaya. Thank you so much for supporting. I want to give a very special thank you to my family. My family has been supporting my niece Okita, recording artist Donnie Nicole, Lash Maverick Essentials, recording artist Jay Poppy, Miss Sophie Davis, all the way from the UK, Onyx Blade, Farrell Higginbotham from New Jersey, Danny L, Easy Street with Jen, Miss Lee Dennis. I would love to see you come through one of these nights. Shanti Refuge, thank you so much for supporting. Thank you so much for the expansion as well. I appreciate you. My brother Nate Perry, Serene Poems, author Liz Bullard, Chris Prasad, Carmen Hamlin, my cousin Chanel, Miss Jalea Tucker, Grace Russell, Bethany Trent, another cousin, my cousin Raquel, thank you so much. Marvin Clearview, Aquira, make sure I said that right, Aquira, and also Miss Stephanie Morel. So yes, last night Raquel Hernandez came through and we healed the wounds that you can't see. And the song of the day last night that paired so well was Patti LaBelle, If Only You Knew. If only you knew what people are going through. Sometimes you feel that you might be the only one. Sometimes you might feel that, you might can't share. You might can't open up to that person that you might feel you want to open up to, because you might feel on the inside, if only they knew what I was going through, maybe they might judge me, maybe they might think about me differently. But I strongly urge y'all to go ahead and watch that replay as I paired those two things up together. And tonight, this is going to be a good one. This song of the day is going to be a good one. And I'm going to try not to stay on this so much, because y'all know who I am and y'all know who my favorite singer is. But I got to do it. I don't want to be biased or anything, but I just have today. Heard Again by the Queen of Hip Hop Soul, Miss Mary J. Blige, released in 2007 off of the Growing Pains album. So this song and the Growing Pains album means a lot to me because this was the second time in my life that I actually had a face-to-face conversation with Mary J. Blige. And I was a little bit more mature during this encounter that I had with her. The first time it was during the No More Drama album in 2001. And boy, y'all know I don't like the cold weather. But boy, did I wait outside in New York City for Mary for like a whole 24 hours. So it was definitely well worth it. But song again, heard again. And for those of you, the question that I have to ask is, have you ever been hurt so bad? Have you ever much, whether it be a breakup, whether it be betrayal on your job, whether it be a friendship loss? Have you ever been through so much that you told yourself that you will never, get hurt again? No one will ever be able to hurt you again. Only to be so vulnerable to jump into the next situation to do just that, to actually get hurt again. And sometimes we go through these cycles over and over and over again saying, I promise myself that I will never get hurt again. I promise that I'll never go through this. Yes, I've been there. Yes, I've done that, but I promise never to get hurt again. And after we continuously go through these cycles over and over and over again, which I typically call quicksand cycles, where we're stuck in quicksand, continuously doing the same thing over and over again, expecting different results. Some people call it insanity. I call it quicksand syndrome, being in a quicksand relationship where you basically do the same thing over and over again, each and every day, expecting different results, inviting the same type of toxic energy, inviting the same lower vibrational people into your world and expecting different results, going to those same places, those same bars, those same dating apps, that same whatever place that you got the first one. Now you go back and you try to get the second and third one thinking that something's going to change. Have you ever been hurt so bad that after going through all of these ups and downs and these roller coaster emotions that you tell yourself that I vow and I promise this time that I really will never get hurt again? I don't know who I'm speaking to, but I can only speak from experience. But after going through some of the things that I've been through, after burning it all the way to the ground and needing to rebuild this thing back up, piece by piece, brick by brick, I promise to myself that I will never get hurt again. And when I say never get hurt again, that's exactly what I mean. Never get hurt again. Now, there is a point in your life where you can get to a point where you can never get hurt again. That's when you understand and you know who you are. See, when you don't know who you are, people can shape you and mold you and turn you into the person that they want you to be. And when they shape and turn and mold you into the person that they want you to be, and you're not being your true authentic self, this is where we set ourselves up for being able to get hurt again. So after 2020, when I had to burn that thing down to the ground to where I couldn't even get any lower, and as I continued to rebuild this thing up, piece by piece, brick by brick, I started to understand and know who I was, and I was able to stand in my true power. And now that I know who I am today, there is no way that I am there is no way that I am going to be able to put myself in a position where I can get hurt again. Because when you know who you are, they will know who you are. When you don't know who you are, they're like, okay, so now I see this person over here. I see him right there. I see her over there. They don't even know what they got going on. They don't even know the power that's inside of them. Well, let me go ahead and take control of this situation and try to mastermind and manipulate them into something that I want them to be. Because if they understand and they know what their true power is, they're going to be unstoppable. They're going to be unshakable. They're not going to be movable. And the enemy knows that. And the enemy knows that if you know what your true potential was and your true power, you would be unstoppable. So he tries to trick you and control you and manipulate you in the beginning before you discover who you really are. But remember this and check this out. See, you can't get hurt again if you know who you are. The only reason that you can get hurt is when you don't know who you are. Because when you know who you are, like my mentor says, I'm good today because I know how to pick them. See, when you know who you are, you know how to pick them. See, when you don't know who you are, you don't know how to pick them. And then you end up doing what I call sleeping with the enemy. You got to be very careful. I have no idea who I'm talking to tonight, but through this, when I say that I'm never going to get hurt again, that is because I've learned how to turn my pain into power. see all of the sad things that I've been through, all of the heartbreaks, all of the shakeups, all of the BS, all of the drama that I may have came on here before and was like crying about it before in 2020, all the way up until about 2023. See, I didn't know what was happening. I didn't know that all of those things were set up purposely and orchestrated, and the individuals that came into my life, the individuals that I allowed to come into my life, this was all part of the divine plan. So you might be going through something, or you might keep asking yourself, why does this keep happening over and over and over again? And instead of pointing the fingers and blaming this one, that one, the next one, and the other, sometimes we need to point the fingers at the person that's staring right at us in the mirror and start to ask ourselves, what is it that we're doing wrong? What is it that I need to learn here in this lesson here today? How is it that you can allow another human being to hurt you when you are you? You control you. No one else controls you. So once you go ahead and claim that and take that on and say, this person did this to me, this person did that to me, this circumstance makes me feel this way, I can't believe that they did that to me. Once you start speaking like that, you've already given up your power. You've already lost the game, because can't nobody do anything to you when you know who you are. No one can do anything to you when you know who you are. Turning your pain into power. Track 3, Disc 5, Restoration, the 4-1 podcast. To be in here tonight, feels so good. I actually wanted this. I was like, I can't believe that we've come this far. First of all, I can't believe that we've come this far. I can't believe that I used to come out here and do this thing every night like this. Like every night we was doing this. I can't believe that we were doing this, but we were. And because of that, I want to say thank you, because we're still here, still able to do this. And with that being said, now that we done shake things up a little bit, we gonna bring in my friend, recording artist, Miss Maddie Lee Mars, all the way from Canada. And I'm gonna get on this a little bit because I'm so amped up tonight. And I'm gonna share with y'all too. After this show is over, I'll be just so amped up. I'll be like, did this really happen? Did we really just break through like this tonight? And then it'd be hard for me to go to sleep. And then the next day, I'm like dragging a little bit. And then when it's showtime, it's like we up and we here. So, but I don't know what happened in 2020. And I know some of y'all are like, oh, just keep talking about 2020, keep going through the same thing. I'm still just so mesmerized by all of this. I have so many friends from all over the world, not the country, all over the world. And I get so excited and I'm so overjoyed. And sometimes I get overwhelmed when I have international guests come on. And I know we right next door, we family, but this is so much bigger than me. This is so. Laren couldn't do this. Laren didn't do this. I didn't do this. So I just get so overwhelmed, and I just want to give it back. Excuse me. I want to give to each and every one of you. I didn't take anything. We spoke about that last night. Don't ever say giving back, because you didn't take anything to begin with. So I just want to give to show each and every one of y'all that, this is just so much bigger and better than me. So with that being said, it's time to bring in my friend, recording artist, Miss. Let's see if we can go ahead and make this thing work. The anticipation. Let's try that again. We have some little glitches here and there, better as time goes on. Last night was a good show, minimal issues. All right, I think we got it this time. No, I can't hear you. Maybe your audio isn't on. There we go. There we go.
You know?
How are you? I got you.
Good.
How are you?
Well, how are you? Greetings from Canada.
Yes. I'm good. I'm great. We first international guest on Disc 5, so welcome.
Oh my goodness, I feel very like honored. Yeah,
Yes.
this is also our first time
Face to face. Yes. This
Yep.
this is a new thing. So in the beginning, I don't okay, so how the Form One podcast started was I'm a huge Mary J. Blige fan. I
Me
have to tell
too.
myself don't talk too much about Mary because I don't want people to
It's
get
fair.
tired of it. But I don't get tired of her because I love her and she actually helped her music save my life. But so What's the Form One was the first album, and if you listen to What's the Form One in the beginning, they are on the phone calling Mary. Well, I used to get in trouble a lot when I was a kid because I talked on the phone a lot. I stayed on the phone forever. And that was back in the day before call waiting came. And then even when dial up internet and AOL came, I was on the phone or either on the computer and people couldn't use the phone. So I was always tying up the phone when I was a kid. So when I was trying to do a podcast, I was a bad situation happened and I had to end up going back to my childhood home. And inside my room, it was set up the same way it was when I like as I left. I had some time to think, and then I just thought of okay, let's take it back to what you used to do as a kid. What did you used to love? I used to like be on the phone,
Mhm.
listening to music and talking to my friends. So that's where the whole phone thing came. And I dialed people during the podcast, and we talked on the phone. So that's how it started. And now we just live stream.
Yeah.
But
Um,
that's how it started.
yeah, that's a very interesting thing because like it is a very healing thing when you go back to your childhood. Um, I have a speech impediment by the way. But
Hmm.
it is beautiful when you are able to get back to a part of yourself that is from when you were a child, right? Because a lot of the time as adults, we are kind of forced to allow our inner child to almost die. So it's actually like a very beautiful thing that you have been able to get back to who you like were, right? So
Yeah.
very, very cool. Very
Yeah, I
cool.
had to go back, and I was kind of reluctant to go back, but I kind of
Okay.
know why I
Mm,
had to go back because I had to heal from some of that from the past. And once you heal, then you can move forward. So I had to stir up and shake up everything, and I get it now.
yeah. Yep. Gotta create like a like earthquake to create something new. I don't know. That was a bad analogy,
No,
but
no, I get it.
it wasn't great.
What happens? But no, what happens with earthquakes? They burn and not burn. They shake up and
Yep.
build and rumble right to the ground, and then what do? We rebuild again. So
Yep. And we always do. So
yeah. So Canada, what's the weather
yes.
like there?
Okay, so where I am, the weather is beautiful. We are in this weird kind of so where I am from, we have a fifth season called springter, where it is
Mm,
this weird awkward time where like we have days that are like oh +5, but then within a day it'll also snow. So yes,
mm.
so right now we are in the midst of a springter. So it is nice for the time being. That could change though.
I don't know if I'd like that too much.
Um, it's not good for people that have like headaches. The weather is not kind for them, but it's actually nice to have kind of a break from all of the cold, right? So
Yes,
it's
yeah.
not too bad, and you learn to kind of adapt. So,
That's one of the reasons why I want to move out of New Jersey, move out of the
oh,
Northeast because I don't like the cold. I don't like it. Can't stand
okay.
it. Been here all my life, can't stand it, don't want it. And I am a December baby. Can't stand it, don't want it.
Oh,
Like you can't have birthday parties. And what are you going to do? Go outside and throw snowballs? Like, and people
you
who have
could.
like spring birthdays, fall birthdays, especially summer birthdays, y'all really have it going on because you can do pool parties and outside
Right.
things. Like, yeah, no, don't like.
Not where I'm from because my birthday is July 12th, and we have something called the Stampede. So it is typically from I guess like July 5th until it's like sorry, it's like 10 days, and my birthday always falls in the middle, and no one can ever attend my event because they have to go party elsewhere. So I yeah,
Mm.
it's actually like a very real thing for people that are from here. If you are born between July 5th and July 19th, no one gives a crap about your birthday. So
So when you said stampede, I
yes.
was like, what the hell are they doing? Like, like I'm thinking like it's a real
Oh,
stampede. Like,
oh, you thought like people are like, yeah, no. So
yeah.
the Calgary Stampede is a famous event. It is 10
Mhm.
days of rodeo, of beer tents. Yeah, like it's very old, and it is a great, 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 amazing time. But it sucks having a birthday during that time because no one
Mm.
wants to attend your birthday party. So
Well, I mean, we have something in common because it sucks when you have a birthday in the wintertime and it's snowing and cold and you can't plan a birthday party. And yeah,
no,
so we got something in
yeah,
common.
exactly.
Yeah,
In like very opposite
you,
ways, but like, yeah, no, definitely.
you and my niece have the same birthday. That's
You've
awesome.
got to be kidding me.
Yeah.
Really? Okay, so Sing
Yeah.
Synchronicity is very like real there. Very badass.
Now, here, check this out. Have you ever dated anybody who has the same birthday
I
as
have
you?
not. I did date someone that had a birthday within 3 days though.
Mm.
It was beautiful. It was very nice. Didn't work out, but it happens. So,
Yeah, I'm gonna say
how,
not a good idea.
no, why? Too much
Not a
alike?
good idea. I mean, well, I think when you date someone who's the same zodiac
Sure.
sign as you and it's so close like that, it's too much of familiarity, if that makes sense. And we don't really want that. We know who we are. Do we really want to, like, you know what I mean? Like,
Uh,
that's what I
I
think.
don't know, because like sometimes it's nice to have that mirror kind of back at you. And like there are because like actually when I search up my zodiac sign and my compatibility, a cancer
Mhm.
is actually really good. My
Mm.
problem is that I typically go after signs that are the opposite and very bad. Um, yeah.
We're not
So
gonna say you're not gonna say a
you
word.
could.
I get it. I
You
get it.
could.
Yeah. Oh no, no, no! I'm trying to, like. This is restoration.
Yeah,
We are restoring
right.
everything. We're gonna leave it at that.
Oh, it's funny.
Okay. So, music
Yes.
artists. When did you discover that you wanted to be a singer?
Okay, so as a child, um, I definitely wanted to be a singer. I would record tapes of myself and I would send them to like Disney Channel, which wasn't a thing because like I was from Canada, so we didn't have like a Disney Channel Canada, so I don't even know who I was sending it to. Um, but then I kind of put that on the back burner. And then I kind of geared towards performance and dancing. And then once I retired from dance, I decided that I wanted to pursue music. And how it all began was that I met a guy. He was a Sagittarius, which is really bad for a Cancerian. Like literally, do not tread.
Um,
And this. Oh yeah, go ahead.
it's funny that you said that because I did date and it didn't work. But go ahead. Sorry, don't mean to interrupt. You're
Okay,
absolutely
fair
right. It
enough.
didn't work. Go ahead.
We are just very opposites because like I'm like a home body and Sagittarius is just want to run away. That's just kind of what they do. Anyways, um, so basically I got into this dynamic where I couldn't quite understand it. And typically I had used music to kind of help me filter through my experiences. But this was an experience that no song could really match. So then I kind of decided to create my own songs, and then it just kind of has rolled from there. Um, yeah.
That's amazing. I have seen like a transformation in you since the first time that I met you until now. And I see that you are really like zoned in on your career and you are really like going in and doing such a great job performing everywhere. And I'm like amazed. I'm like, is this the same person I was speaking to? Like,
Yeah,
there's going to be a breakthrough one day. There's going to be a breakthrough, and I'm going to see you like everywhere. I can see it.
that's so kind.
So, I think that it's so mystical that you used to make tapes of yourself and send them into the Disney. I used to make tapes of myself and I would send them into record companies, and a lot of times they would get crushed in the mail. They would
Yeah.
get returned to sender. No one was there.
Yeah.
I did get a couple letters back. I got a letter back
Hey.
from Death Row Records. I got some. I sent it to some like country record label. I didn't care what it was. I just
Anyone.
wanted to be signed. I was sending it to everybody.
Yeah.
So I think that's interesting. And when you do it at such a young age like that,
Mhm.
and you really don't know what you're doing, that's like true dreaming. And that's
Yeah,
true
man.
passion. That's not something that you just all of a sudden, woke up and said, "Oh, I just want to be a singer." Like that was like you were born with
Yeah.
that. So
Oh,
when I
that's a
look,
good thing. Yeah, fair.
go ahead.
No, no. I was
Oh, okay.
about to say is that something that kind of got in the way of me pursuing it earlier is that I was told that I couldn't sing, which was kind of true for a bit, to be fair. To be fair, I have definitely had to work on my vocals, but it's like looking back, it's incredible the ways that we kind of create these roadblocks before we even get a chance to even do it. And as I've kind of gotten older, it's really cool to go back and restore that childhood dream, that childhood passion at a time where I feel like I understand it. And maybe you can relate to that as well.
Yeah, my I won't single out any family members because I don't want them to say anything. But
Mm,
it started with family members that told me that I couldn't sing,
right.
and I couldn't sing. Please, I could not sing. Basically, I was taking a cassette tape of Mary J. Blige and screaming at the top of my lungs. I didn't know what the heck I was doing, and they were like, "Yeah, just stop it.
Yeah.
Just don't do it." And there was always these recording booths that were in the malls and stuff, and at
Yes.
like the amusement parks where you could record. And every time I see them, my eyes would light up, and then there would always be a family member that would look at me and be like, "Nah."
Mm.
Like as they say nowadays, nah, bro.
Yeah.
So what that did was piss me off, and I actually taught myself how to sing.
Okay.
And I studied and I started to like, you know, turn the radio off and then continue to sing and perfect my voice that way. So I basically taught myself how to sing, and then I actually started to go out and to
Right.
perform live. And then those same family members that said stuff like that I couldn't sing, I watched their jaws drop and I started to win like awards at little talent shows and
Mhm.
stuff like that. But I ended up, you know, getting caught up in the matrix and not following my dream. And
Yeah.
I guess that's not what I was supposed to do.
Yeah.
So I get it today. But I did think that I was going to be a singer back in the day.
And you know what? You still could. You never know. You never
Well, now
know.
I sing. I mean,
I know.
I could sing
I know
now.
you do.
I
Yeah.
sing. But I don't, that I'm just not doing it professionally
Nope.
like that.
That's fair.
But it's interesting how, sometimes family or people that are closest to you can actually help you.
Yeah.
They think that they might be deterring you from something, but they could actually
Yeah.
help you.
That's a good point. That's a very good point.
And now my job is to just bring in all of the independent artists who start from the bottom and work their way up to the top because I knew what it felt like when people didn't believe in me.
Yeah.
So when I bring artists in and we're doing and having this great dialogue, what we're having now, that's me giving to the
Yeah.
community.
Yeah. Yeah. No. That it's about like you are because like to be fair, I haven't had a in-depth conversation in a while, so this is really nice. And like you and I always like we always just have such a great talk.
Hmm.
So thank
Yes.
you. Sorry, I keep moving my
Oh,
laptop.
movie. That's good. That's good. So now let's
Yes.
think. Going, I love to ask this. Going into the recording studio,
Yes.
um, how do you know that a song's done? How many takes? Is there like a secret?
Uh,
Of course, I don't want you to tell us what the secret is, but do you have your
oh
own like secret formula that you use when you're creating a record?
no. Okay, so something for me is that the song is never really done. In my mind, there's always something that I can do more. But for me, I know that I feel good about a song when I can drive around and I can just get lost in it.
Mm,
So that is when I am like, okay, I am happy with this. This is something that is coming from my soul, and that is how I know when it's done. But it's honestly never done. There's always something to add or take away, I guess.
that makes sense.
Perfectionism. So,
I used to make music and I would cringe because I didn't want to hear my own voice back.
yeah. That's also a thing is like when I don't get scared to hear my own voice, that is when I know that I am happy.
Hmm.
Um, because that is the number one thing that I pay attention to whenever I get anything back is like I pay attention to every little part of my vocals, and I have not 100% been happy with it, but I have found people that help me feel okay with it. So,
That's,
which is
that's
half of the battle, right?
yeah, yeah.
So,
So the album's done. How do
not an
you?
album. I haven't done a full album yet. I have done only a bunch of songs, just for
Okay.
the record. Sorry.
So when do you think your debut album's gonna come out?
Okay, so first of all, for those that don't make music, it's very expensive, especially on the country analog, or sorry, not like analog side, but like when you are dealing with live
Instruments.
instruments,
Mm.
it costs a lot, but like all of the costs make sense. So if I can get a grant, I would love to release a full album. What year is it? Realistically, 2027 to do a full project. I have a few ideas in the work. It's just now about the execution and finding the money to make that happen. Yeah. So,
Yeah, I that's a problem with the recording. So I can imagine what the prices are now. I used to struggle with that back in the day. I can imagine. And then I'd be in the recording studio for like an hour or two because that's all I could afford. But you just getting
right.
warmed up and getting started after the second hour. You know, you're starting
A
to feel good.
thousand
Your
percent.
voice is warmed up, and then it's
Yeah.
like, all right, we'll see you next week.
Yeah. Yeah. Cause like for one song, where I am from, you're paying minimum 1,800 per song. But all
Mm,
of that price makes sense because like you have to pay like your sessions, you have to pay the producer, you have to pay for like a studio time. So it all makes sense when like you break it down. But I just don't think the general public realizes how much these independent artists are investing in what
mm.
they are making. Um, so if you have money, fund them. Fund all of the like independent artists that like you like know because like they will appreciate it. And yeah,
Well, there is a beauty of turning it into an official business too.
yes.
So there is a beauty behind that. So I was speaking about that last night with Rockwell Hernandez when you actually decide to take control over your life
Mhm.
and start your own business so
Yeah.
that you can be your own person and break away from the matrix and break away from these systems that we have been programmed to just, adapt to. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Um, in a way, like sorry, your first few songs are kind of like a startup cost, as if you would do for any other type of business. So like when you frame it like that, then it's not as bad, right? Because
Right.
like every business has startup costs. The first
Mhm.
few years are going to be, financially not great, but
Mhm.
it's about the growth. So,
Absolutely.
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
All right. This is good. This is good. So, before we continue, I want you to let everyone know where they can listen to your music at, where they can follow
Yes.
you, where they can get all the latest and greatest from you.
All right. So you can follow me on Instagram at Maddie Lee Mars Music. I've put it in my handle as well. I'm not sure if you guys can like see that. Also on Apple Music and Spotify, you can find me at Maddie Lee Mars. And yeah, I also have a new song coming out April 1st, which we'll talk about, I'm guessing, later.
Yes.
But yeah.
Okay. Very good. Very good. All right. I don't know why when I get ready to ask these profound questions, everything just sort of like goes away. This happened last night. Look back in. All right. So, growing up, what
Yes.
artists did you look up to? What did you play?
Oh, there's so many. Oh gosh.
Give me like, okay, let's do like top three.
That's not fair. Okay. Um okay. These are going to be very niche artists for Canada, I feel. Do you know who Sky Sweetnam is?
No, I don't.
Okay, no, okay. Okay, so I had a lot of Canadian artists that kind of shaped my life. Sky Sweetnam was one of them. She sang the song, oh gosh, I don't need to read Billy Shakespeare and Juliet and a Romeo. No, maybe
No.
this is a Canadian. Okay, cool. So this is funny because like I realized that there's a lot of artists in Canada that you guys never know
Hmm.
about. Do you guys know who Nickelback is?
Yes, I
Okay,
do.
good. Okay, yeah. So Nickelback shaped me, but like kind of peripherally, because in Canada and especially Alberta, there is this weird thing where we refuse to kind of acknowledge Nickelback as ours, but yet we know every single word to every single song. So like
Mm.
it's this weird thing. So that was only one of them too, and then obviously the Spice Girls was one of them.
Oh yeah.
Because growing up, we didn't have a lot of role models. So like Scary Spice Mel B, she was the hair. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, yeah, but also like obviously Shania Twain,
Mm. That's a
who
good
was a
one.
classic, obviously, yeah. And then also great a Big C, which might be a niche artist for Canada. Bare Naked Ladies also
Okay,
might be
heard
a
of them. Yeah,
niche.
heard of them.
Yeah, like it's very niche. But yeah.
I don't know why. For some reason, I'm thinking that Jewel is from Canada. She's not from
She's
Canada.
not, but she feels very Canadian-esque. I
Mm.
I will say that. Yeah, because like she has like that folk
Yeah,
kind of
yeah.
vibe to her. So,
Yeah.
um,
That's
but also like Alanis Morissette was huge
oh
for me
yeah,
growing up
yeah,
with her.
yeah.
So, yeah,
That makes sense. See, a lot of those artists I know, but I didn't know that they were from Canada and love their
right?
music too. So, Alanis
Yeah.
Morissette, she doesn't she have that song where she goes off on that guy?
Oughta
That's her
Know.
famous song. Oh, there you go. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
She went off on that
That song is inspired by, oh gosh, the guy from Full
from Full
House,
House. Absolutely.
Joey.
I
So
when I saw that, I was like, "What? They don't even look like they even work well together." But I guess it was something that he did that
so
make her write that song because she went on.
right. So something about like being from Canada is like we have a really good sense of humor. So she was probably drawn to his humor
Yeah,
because like it's a very Canadian thing because like we are such like a silly type of people here. So that is my theory about how they ended up a couple because otherwise I have no idea.
yeah,
Like
it
no
just didn't make.
idea.
Now, one thing I do know is that y'all know how to party because I was in corporate America. I'm like, I gotta go to bed because they just crammed our brains with all the crap that they want us to recite in front of hundreds of people. And it was always the
Right.
Canadians that were up late at night partying, carrying on, wanting everybody else to party with them. And then they get up and they just carry on and come right off of the dome. We go
Yeah.
back to our hotel's room, be rehearsing it, and walk pacing the floor, praying, "Oh God, please let me not make a mistake." And we
Yeah.
get up there and we make tons of mistakes. They're up there partying, probably had like an hour of sleep, and then
Right.
they get all of the hand claps and standing ovations.
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't understand this.
Were any of them from Calgary? Because if a so, Stampede will literally explain all that, because for those 10 days, pretty much everyone downtown, you're partying the whole time. So like they are so like they'll like have like their like Stampede corporate event, and then they'll wake up the next day at 6 a.m. So like they might be from Calgary, which could explain why they're like that. But we're just hard kind of core here.
I'm not
So
sure where they were from, but they just we knew when the Canadians were in the building. Put it that way.
I am proud of that. The Canadian way.
Okay, so let's talk about your new song and
Yes.
maybe can we get a little live version of it? Maybe I don't know.
Oh no.
Put you on the
Okay, so
spot. Oh, you can't do
I
it.
okay. If I had known, I would have
I
done
know.
this.
I knew.
Ugh, I c- mm,
It's
um
okay. When
okay.
I tried to play
Next
music
time,
on here,
for real.
right? We'll do that. When I tried to play music on here before, we've been muted. They said that we didn't have
Oh
permission, so I don't
no.
like to play the music. And I have enough with
Right.
I have enough with the conversation so far. I had the two nights of the show were only for a mature audience, so you have to like sign in to this one app to view it
Okay.
because they don't want it to be visible to the public. So that one was
Sure.
whatever. Then I have one app, which I'm not going to say. We're not streaming live on there tonight
Oh,
because
okay.
they started to feel a little certain way and say that we were not approved to stream live. So whatever. I
Oh.
didn't want to do anything to upset any of these, social media,
No,
whatever they are.
that's totally fine. If I had known, I would have made it happen. Um,
No, it's
but
okay.
the song that is coming out is called "I'm Not Safe." It is the second version of it. I did a okay. So first of all, this song kind of has a double meaning. So the song was inspired by a panic attack I had when I started to date again. Because basically I felt myself in a similar dynamic that I had been working so hard to get out of. And because of that, I started to panic. And because I started to panic, because I wasn't safe, I also felt like I wasn't safe to be around as a consequence because I went into survival mode. So the song is kind of a double meaning where there is this part of me that feels safe. So I'm like scared. But then there's this other part of me that because I don't feel safe, I'm on bad girl mode, I guess you like could call it. Like I am on attack mode. And this song was a way for me to kind of deal with all of that. So yeah, the second version is out April 1st. It also involves my friend Jaden. He also sings on it as well. And without him, I don't think this song would be what it is because he provided the background vocals. He also did a lot of the production on it. And it just really captured what I was trying to do. So that is my
Mm,
long-winded explanation.
very good, very good. Well, that song and the topic that we have tonight, turning pain into power, is so mystical how all of this stuff just, blended together and makes sense. I
Yeah.
never share, any of the burning questions, the title of the show. I never share that ahead of time. It's always a
Yeah.
surprise, and we sort of just go with the flow once we get in here. So that is another true testament of how mystical and how what do they say, the synchronicities behind this,
Yep.
how it just makes sense. It's so
Yep.
amazing. This is what, and then this is when I get confirmation, like, okay, we're doing the right thing. This makes
Yep.
sense. Yeah.
Yep. No,
Wow.
and that's like how I feel every time that I enter a conversation with you is like whatever I am thinking about, you're also thinking about, and it's just weird, but it that is the beauty.
It's so mystical.
Yep.
Wow. I opened up the show speaking about a lot of that when we get into these quicksand relationships. And we get into
Mhm.
these relationships because we haven't done our inner work yet. And we think that we're ready. Because let me tell you, 2022, for some reason, as I'm speaking about restoration now in 2025, but for some reason, I just keep looking back to 2022 because
Okay.
I wasn't 100%, but I was like in the middle a little bit. Like some days you feel good, the other days you don't.
Yeah.
So, like when I look back at the pictures from 2022, when I look back at the interviews that I did from 2022 and
Yeah.
the people that I was like trying to date, it just didn't make sense. And basically, like what the song you're saying is, I kept seeing the same people show up and the same patterns show up, and
Right.
that's because the work wasn't done. You know, you have to do
Yeah.
that inner work so that who you are will show up, because we are, all interconnected. So
Yeah.
whatever we put out there when it comes to who we are, that's exactly what's going to show up. So when you say that you didn't feel safe because of these relationships, the next question I have to ask you is, now that you're out of it, now that
Yeah.
years have gone on,
Mhm.
do you see yourself in that individual?
No, okay, no. So what's like really cool about that moment with like that song is that that moment marked a time where I actually was making a different choice because even though I like was feeling that way, how I would have dealt with it before was not how I dealt with it kind of moving forward. So it actually felt really good. Because for me writing the song, I used to be so afraid to admit these hurtful feelings and like when I was feeling unsafe, like I was even afraid to admit it, that being able to admit it in a way that I had control over, but then also in a way that didn't cause what is the word? That didn't impact my life in a negative way. If that makes sense, like I was able to take something that had previously been so damaging and putting it somewhere where it was still given life, but it wasn't acted upon. So it as like much it was kind of scary to write the song, it also allowed me to realize, holy crap, like I'm not engaging in relationships in the same way that I was before, meaning that I'm making different mistakes, which means that I'm growing. So yeah.
And that's where the power comes in. And
Yes.
my mentor
Yes.
says, you won't make those same mistakes. See, you have to go through it a
Yep.
couple of times so that you can get good
Totally.
and sick and tired of it, so that you won't do it again. And
Yeah.
my mentor says, now you'll be all right. Like, don't worry about it. Chill. You'll be all right. You
Yeah.
want to know why? Because now you'll know how to pick them.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, no. Exactly. And like kind of having to go through those experiences a few times, it's kind of a way also to test your ability to trust your own judgment and like really affirm what you may have known intuitively, but like you weren't able to act on it, right?
Mm.
So, as much as it's like really shitty to have to go through those patterns and like retest yourself in a way, it's a way for you to learn to trust your intuition and your judgment. So it's a beautiful thing once you get to the part where you make different like things, you know? So,
Oh yeah, we definitely gonna speak about that as we close up the show, because
yes,
I have something to say when it comes to that. Thank you so much for that.
of course.
So, um, now's the time. where we basically get into the next segment of our show. So, for everyone out there, thank you so much, first of all, for everyone who's out there. If you have questions for Miss Maddie Lee, please go ahead and put them in the chat box, and we will have a Q&A session towards the end. But now we're going to move on to our session, which is called Burning Questions.
Ooh.
This is where I basically put my guests in the hot seat. And you can participate tonight, of course, by putting it in the chat. You also can comment and text me at 609 200 1098. Again, that number is 600 1098. That is the official 411 podcast Reading Between the Wines hotline. And I will get back to you. You can also submit your burning questions that way. Maybe I will, bring this up on future shows as well. And I get it. If you want them to be anonymous, you most certainly can, you know, let me know that as well. I won't say who it came from. I love when that happens and we get these bizarre questions that show up. So, burning questions.
Yes.
What life lessons have helped you transform past hardships into sources of strength and
Yeah.
inspiration? I'll read that one more time for those of you out there. What life lessons have helped you transform your past hardships into sources of strength and inspiration?
Yeah.
Go ahead, take it away.
Okay. All right. So there's a few life lessons, but I'll keep it short. One of the main ones is that even though it feels like you will never move on from a person, you actually will. Like 1,000%. There have been people where I thought that I was literally going to die without them, and now I'm fine. So, and that's also kind of led to me also allowing myself to be happy, because I used to be afraid to be happy because I thought that if I was happy with a person and then it ended, then that like was it. And then I guess another life lesson is that although it's really bad being alone, like actually alone is the one of the best things that you can do for yourself, because not only do you learn to cope with hard emotions, you also learn who you are outside of anything else. And although it's very hard, it definitely led me to a better place. I create more, and yeah, that's all.
Wow. Like you could drop the mic. You said so many great things. And as we're speaking about music, I'm just thinking about my favorite singer because music, of course, saved my life, and her music has saved
Yes.
my life. But I'm gonna just say, you just said so many Mary J. Blige songs in that thing.
Did
But
I really?
I never want to live without you. That was one of my
Yeah.
favorite songs from the My Life album, and that's basically when Mary is in a bad relationship and she says she never person, and we
Yeah.
sometimes think that we never want to live without them, and it's horrible. Life is going to be terrible. But once you get past that part, and you said it yourself, things are going to be just fine. And that's another Mary record. And of course, they will be just fine.
Wow.
But you got to get past that part of you sitting there crying over that person, thinking that you're never going to live without them, and the world is coming to an end. Once you get past that part, yes, it sucks in the beginning, but things will be just fine. And then you said, "Be happy," which is another Mary record.
Shut up. No, it's not.
Yes. And
That's
you will,
so funny.
and you will be happy at the end. So,
Oh,
yeah, a lot of relationships have helped shape and transform me into the person who I am here today. And a lot of times it was romantic, but for me to be the business person that I am today, a lot of it happened in a workplace too. So,
mm,
um, I just got so sick and tired of doing things for other people and other companies, and having people who were in power abuse their power and take some of the things that I brought into this situation and then go ahead and run with it. So it
yeah.
taught me, how to control my own here, and do what works for me. I can still work for somebody else, but trust and believe that I work for me first before I do
Yeah.
anything for anybody else. So thank you so much for sharing that. That was great.
Yeah,
Um,
not a problem. Sorry, just one last thing to touch on that.
mhm.
Something I also learned was that learning to love yourself, and that sounds really like cheesy and cliche, but actually accepting the parts of me, even the parts that I don't like, because like I am a very dramatic person, and just like because like I'm a theatrical person, but my music has allowed me to allow those parts of me to live without it impacting my life. And like although it's been like a very painful process to be able to do that, but like it has also been one of those freeing things because I don't have negative self-talk anymore. And holy crap, like I didn't even realize that until this like afternoon when I like was thinking about like I haven't talked down to myself in like at least a year. So it does get better, y'all.
Congratulations on that.
Lots of pain.
I haven't done it since 2022.
That's
Excuse me, 2020
amazing.
when I got out of my situation. And just last week I realized that your subconscious mind controls 95% of your reality.
Mm,
When I heard that, I was like, "What?" I'm so glad that I don't talk like that, but I have been around people who do talk negative and do say terrible things, and you also have to be very careful about that as well because your
yes.
subconscious mind could pick that up, and it also doesn't know whether. So
Yeah,
people who
that's a good
say
point.
jokes and they say, "Oh, I'm this or I'm that," and they might be laughing at it, and then in my mind,
Yeah,
I'm like, in my mind, now that I know what I know, in the back
yeah,
of my mind, I'll be like, now wait till you go to sleep. You laughing here
yeah,
today, but that subconscious mind ain't gonna be laughing when it starts to go ahead and put that in
yeah.
the download memory bank. So
That's a good point. Like, I also feel like it is important to be able to like laugh at like who like sort of like to like laugh at yourself, but you do have to be careful to figure out like whether there's truth in how you're feeling. That's a great
yeah,
point. Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
that's a great point. So
Okay, let's get into our
sorry.
Q&A session here. See what we got here.
Okay.
What questions do we have? Hmm. Mr. Birdman, what's
Yes,
going on? Thank you so
love
much.
birds, by the
Yes.
way. Yeah.
And Onyx Blade says, "What's up? Just popping in to say hello. Thank you so much. Thank you for joining in off of Twitch." And Birdman says, "Do you write your own music?"
Yes, I do. Yes, 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 I do. All of it. Yes, I do. But I am also open to singing other people's songs because, like, if it feels, if it connects, then awesome. So
Please. And Birdman also offered some words of encouragement. Time heals. Keep your head
it
up and never
does.
give up. And I
1000%.
remember my friend, God rest her soul, but
Mhm.
she did say that time heals everything.
It
Time heals everything.
does. It can if you allow yourself to process it. Because, like, there are some things in life that time may not be able to touch, but it definitely allows you to get perspective on it. So, which is great, which is beautiful. Um,
Now, do you know DJ Mexi Mix?
I do actually. Hello,
Okay.
friend.
And
Yeah, I actually do. So,
DJ Mexi Mex says, "You are enough just as you are. Each step you take is a victory, and every moment of healing is a testament of your strength." Megan
mm,
McCubb, I want to say McCubbin?
McCubbin,
McCubbin.
McCubbin.
McCubbin. Yeah.
I'm like the worst at pronouncing anything. It's actually horrible. But no, that's very true. Like, my friend got me this book of like messages, and one of my favorite ones is, you know that you have moved forward when you're making new mistakes. It's okay to make mistakes as long as they're new ones. So,
Right. That makes sense. Yeah.
and that reminds me of that.
Birdman 313 says, awesome.
Yeah.
So, very good. Well,
Yes.
we're almost at the end of our show here. It went so fast and we had so
So
much fun.
sad.
Yeah.
Always. Like every time
Yeah.
it's like over. No.
But I
So
just want to
fun.
say thank you so much for coming on. It's been so long. And I know you
Yes,
wanted to come on last season, but everything booked up so quick. So
I
I definitely would
know. It's good.
love to have you come back. Would love to have you
Would
come back.
love that. And I just want to say that from our first time to talking to now, I can tell that both of us are just in a very lighter place, like
Mm,
1,000%. There's a glow on your face, and I can tell that things are just better from 2020
yeah,
because like that was a dark time. Like that wasn't great, but yeah.
it was.
So
Yeah, it
I'm
was something
grateful.
else. And I've seen like you grow so much from them. Like I said,
Thank you.
like you're. I'm gonna see you on the big screen. I know it.
We'll see. That's very kind of you. It's because like I'm also kind of like as much as I am a performer, I'm also very shy, and yeah.
Okay, so now,
So
we got another question, but then I also have to
oh,
talk to you
sorry.
about that. So you
Yes.
said
Okay.
you're shy. I get that. That's part of it because I'm kind of
Yeah.
shy. Well, actually, let me take that back. Remember, we're our subconscious mind. We can't say things because then it's gonna. But
Yeah.
we're not shy. But you know what I'm saying. So,
It's
but
like
there
yeah.
was something where even when I was doing it, and even when I stream live too, there's a little bit of that nervousness in the beginning.
Of course.
But then boom, once you get out there, you are like you like you just transfer, and then once
Yeah.
you're off stage, you go back to yeah.
Yeah, like it's like you step into your power, and I feel like a lot of artists have like that where like it's just like when you're in it, you just kind of step into this person.
Yeah.
But it's weird because like you're shy, but you're like, I'm not shy at the same time, but I'm
Okay,
shy.
so
So
and since we're talking about relationships, I think that's funny too because there have been some people who I have tried to date, and when we're like interacting, they're like, "You're not the same person that is like the podcaster." And even my family sometimes too.
right.
They think that, oh, I'm gonna be like the talking to everybody, and you
Sure.
know, no, that does. I'm like, no, and then
Yeah.
they're looking at me like I'm crazy. Oh well, you know, you don't have a problem podcasting and speaking, but then now that we're all here, you don't. Yeah.
Yeah, like it's so interesting because there's like a famous quote that like we're all actors and like the world is like a like stage. I didn't say that right, but it's true because like as especially as creatives, as people that are very sensitive to the world, we have to compartmentalize ourselves. So
Mm,
like sure we might seem like we're like this in one space, but in another space we need to kind of compartmentalize our, ourselves, otherwise it's just too much to all over the place, right?
right.
So it's about just like setting like energetic boundaries even.
Mm, that makes
So I get that.
yeah.
Yeah,
Okay, I'm glad somebody else can understand where I'm coming from.
totally. Totally.
So,
That's actually something a lot of famous people actually say that where like they'll like meet fans and like the fans are disappointed because they're not who they thought that they were, which is kind of like this construction that isn't yeah, like it's like other people's perception of you and then these expectations, but
yeah,
that's not really on you, right?
right.
Like that's about the person's expectations of you.
Of you, yeah, that
So,
makes sense.
anyway, sorry.
Yeah, that's all good. DJ Mexi
Oh
Mick
yes.
says, "What are some of the most impactful aspects of songwriting?"
Ooh. Okay, so first of all, one of the biggest impacts is that when you're able to put okay, so I'm a bottle upper. Like I bottle things up and I that's just the way that I kind of make sense. So when you are able to allow some of yourself to pour out but in a way that is safe, that is not only impactful to yourself but also impactful to others that also might have a problem kind of sharing their emotions. Does that make sense? I don't know if that makes sense.
Yeah, you actually take on that role for people who can't.
Yes, and
Yeah.
vice versa, where other songwriters take on that role for me. So I think that is probably one of the biggest impact is realizing that these things that you think are so unique to you, and yes, they are, they're also something that is shared amongst humanity as a whole because sometimes we forget that there's like 8 billion people that exist in this world. And although we may have times where we feel alone, there is somebody somewhere out there who is feeling the way that you are. And whether they are able to express it for you, or you're able to express it to them, there's kind of like this exchange of just relational existence, I guess, for a lack
Yeah,
of a better term.
that
So
makes sense. We spoke about that
great
last.
question.
Yeah, we spoke about that last night as well. Like,
Okay.
the song of the day was "If Only You Knew" by Patti LaBelle. So here we
Mm,
are walking around thinking that, it's only happening to us. But if
yeah.
only you knew that that person next to you is probably going through the same thing that you have been through. They're stepping out of the same thing that you are in, or they're about to step into a situation that you are very familiar with. And sometimes
Yeah.
they go through it 10 times worse, because if you start to tell your story to people and they start to interact, the right people, you don't just go telling your story to anybody, but if you
Yeah.
start to share and interact with the right people, and you will start to listen and learn that, oh wow, here I was thinking that my situation was X, Y, and Z, but this one over
Yeah.
here, they really have it. Like some of the stories that I hear when I'm interacting is mind boggling, and I have to sit down and, get with myself and pray and say thank God, because I feel so much empathy for this person, because here I am
Yeah.
thinking I had it so bad, and
Yeah. Um, and something else that's impactful is like there's a temporal aspect to it, because when you're growing up, you feel, although like our historical context is very unique to where we are, it's amazing how many songs that were written decades ago
mm,
somehow still relate to our situation
mm,
now. So
mm.
like, so that is like the impact, is that like it's not just about what I feel, what you feel, but it's like a temporal, historical, metaphysical, like it's messed up. I was about to say a bad word, but I won't, because
No,
this
it's
is
it's okay. I have
family friendly event.
I,
So
ha- I have the disclaimer on there. So first of all, there's
okay.
two things before we get out of here.
Yeah,
Number
sorry
one,
friends.
number one, I love your vocabulary. I love someone who's very intelligent and who can
Oh,
speak
thank you.
speak with elegance.
I'm baffled,
And
but it's
I've never heard that word temporal before. So now, once we get
okay.
off, I'm going to research that, because it's all
Good
about learning
lord.
and growing. So that's awesome. I love people who, speak, such as you. And it's so amazing how you were talking about music, that has been written years ago, and that can still relate today. I remember being in a tough relationship in probably 2013, 14 ish.
Oh,
Upset,
yeah.
upset, picked the wrong person, like just going through it. And of course, I'm in my car riding, and Stevie Wonder comes on. Everybody,
Oh,
everybody knows who Stevie Wonder
oh,
is. But
Stevie.
I'm at the red light and they're thinking, and I said, "You got to be kidding me." Stevie Wonder is sitting here talking about Part Time Lover. I said, so this creeping and all this stuff has been going on for so long, and even Stevie
Yeah.
Wonder sitting here singing about Part Time Lover. So I said, oh, this is some joint right. And I heard that song so many times as a
Yeah.
kid, but it just didn't make sense, and it clicked right then and there. And I said,
Yeah.
ain't this something? It's the same thing that just be going on over and over and over again. Nothing,
Yeah.
nothing new. What do they say? Nothing new is under the sun, or something like that.
I actually don't know that
Yeah.
saying, but now I'm gonna have to Google that one. So
All right, friend. Thank you so much for coming through. It's
yeah,
been
it
an
was so
amazing
nice.
experience tonight. You definitely did grace this five, so this is going to be a memorable moment, and
Oh.
hopefully, we take it right to the top.
Yeah, no, let's like chat again very soon. Yeah.
Any
I'm
last words?
sad it's over. Oh,
Any
oh,
last words?
okay. Um, last words would be that nope, I got nothing. I was like, wait, do I have something profound? Like, I guess is that if you this is so random, but like if you are a person who feels like they are too sensitive for this world, please do not know that like just like know that you are not the problem in this world. The rest of the world is the problem. That is all I gotta say.
That makes sense.
Does it? I don't even know. So,
it,
Canada pride, elbows up, as the kids say. Um,
Thank you so much. Have a
yes,
wonderful
thank you for
night.
having me.
We will talk to you soon. Take care now.
Sounds good, and thank you to everyone that showed up and
Absolutely. Yes, you
belonged.
definitely did
Yeah,
bring it tonight. Thank you.
perfect. Have a great night, everyone. Happy Tuesday.
Good night. Good night.
Bye.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, there you have it. That is Miss Maddie Lee Mars, all the way from Canada, our first international guest of this five restoration. Great movement. I'm having so much fun. And I'm having so much fun interacting with each and every one of you out there. And we were speaking about turning your pain into power. And this is exactly a true example of what turning your pain into power is, when you can actually recognize and realize that the person that I was before, that person today. And when you won't put up with going through the same situations like we spoke about earlier over and over and over again, you're starting to turn your pain into power. You're getting your power back because you no longer are being a victim. You're a victor over your current circumstances. Now, I think we just got one show. Okay, one show where I'll just go ahead and dedicate it to my favorite singer. But it just makes sense because of all of the conversations we're having. And when you know who she is, she come from some, terrible situations. And she, of course, did turn her pain into power as well. And multiple albums, multiple ups and downs. But one of the most profound lyrics of hers that will always stick with me. Now, I've been a fan since I was 11 years old, and I'm going to be 45 years old this year. So I've been a fan since I was 11, and I'm going to be 45 this year. And it wasn't until two albums ago where she had a song called Love Without the Heartbreak. And in Love Without the Heartbreak, she sings, I never claimed to be a genius, but I lived long enough to see this. I don't know why that means so much to me. I never claimed to be a genius, but I lived long enough to see this. Now, I followed Mary from all of her albums from 1991 all the way up until where we are here today. 15 albums deep. But it wasn't until the 14th album where she has this song, Love Without the Heartbreak, that she says, I never claimed to be a genius, but I lived long enough to see this. After all of the things that I've been through in my life, and I spoke about romantic relationships that didn't work. I spoke about issues in the workplace. I spoke about betrayal with friends that, claimed to be your friends, but then they weren't. Now that I know how to pick them, when I see certain circumstances show up like this, in my mind, I'll say, listen, I never claimed to be a genius, but I lived long enough to see this. And this thing right here, this person right here, this situation, this circumstance reminds me too much of all of the crap that I've been through. And after I've been through all of that, if you think that I'm going to go back and step into that same crap again, absolutely not. So I love that. Love Without a Heartbreak. I never claimed to be a genius, but I lived long enough to see this right here, and I know better. And when you know better, you do better. And on that note, I want to say thank you all so much for joining. You can go ahead and sign up for my free monthly newsletter, which is called Whispers of Wisdom. Head on over to LarenGaines.com and go ahead and sign up. You get all of the combination of some of the things that we're speaking about, inspirational messages. You get the insider information and notes on future live streams, featured guests, wine reviews. It's just a whole bunch of stuff going on that comes to your inbox. One email once a month, Whispers of Wisdom. Head on over to LarenGaines.com. Also, if you like to participate in the coaching sessions, you can head on over there and sign up for a free 15-minute consultation where we can sit down and discuss some things that you might want to change if you want to step into your power. I can go ahead and give you the tools that I've learned and I can share them with you. If you go ahead and head on over to LarenGaines.com, sign up for that free 15-minute consultations, and I can bring you into the coaching sessions. Now, tomorrow night, first episode, Reading Between the Wines. My friend's coming in. Birdman 313. We always have a great time. He's a friend of the show. At this point, he's just family. So lots of laughs, memorable moments from previous episodes. We're going to speak about it all. Author, poet, Birdman 313, Reading Between the Wines. Disc 5 restoration tomorrow. Same place, same time, 8 p.m. Join in, tag a friend, subscribe, like, do whatever you need to do to support. And I want to say thank you so much for coming in. Maddie Lee Mars, thank you so much. See you tomorrow, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, right here, Reading Between the Wines. We're going to have some fun tomorrow. Thank you all. Yes, we have another episode in episode 3, Disc 5, Restoration. Good night, everybody.